saw channel 3.
You should just, it should just automatically just turn
You
on.
type mine,
I'm
mine.
gonna leave this.
Yeah, but that's a different, neither one needs.
Using mine.
Oh, that one ain't not gonna work. Good.
These two here ain't working.
Okay, then that one may need battery. The one with the blue needs battery.
Well, we got one.
Yeah,
I mean,
you need mine. I don't need it.
we pass it around. Alright. Alright, it is now 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 30th, 2026 Greensboro Town Council Workshop. If you would please join me in saluting our flag. Kim, would you lead us, please?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. All right, so I turn it over to the town manager.
Yep, thank you very much. Hopefully I can speak loud enough everybody can hear me. So what I'm presenting tonight is going to be the general fund, which supports the day-to-day operations of the wastewater treatment plant, the town hall, including administrative staff. We are also presenting the wastewater treatment plant budget as well. I don't know if you want to go line by line on this, since it is a little bit more of a...
Well, you want to explain to them what you've given them so they'll see what they're looking at.
Absolutely. So the front page that I give you is just a breakdown, and it tells you what the revenue expenses are, and right now I have a balanced budget going through for both the enterprise, public works, police, and the general government. The enterprise fund is self-funded, it does not come from any taxes and so forth. All the other departments do use property taxes to help fund it. The property tax, we've decided, has not changed for this year. On the second page, you've got the consolidated budget, and it shows you by department the revenue, the expenses, and what portion of the property tax it used, as well as the percentage. And then on the third page, we start with the enterprise fund budget. And this is going to give you the budget from fiscal year 26, the actual for fiscal year 26, and then the budget for fiscal year 27.
The water service charges, what does that entail?
Water
The
service.
400?
Third lane.
Yep, that is the water charges from residents
Okay,
that get charged. That's the water usage
okay, usage, okay.
that we have billed out and collected.
You know, when all of you ask a question about something, if you could at least say the number so it's easier for the rest of us to figure out what you're talking about,
Okay.
it would be easier for us to see it. Thank you.
And then 60-43-10 and 60-43-15, I'm assuming they're going up because of Kinnaman's being added?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we factored those in. So we factored in the flat rate that we're billing Goldsboro, and then we've got the 25 residents that we do Goldsboro County, and then we've got the residents of Greensboro, and then of course the new ads that we've got for Kinnaman's coming in.
So going back to the water, Cindy, I know you talked about with me for 4375 under water
Correct.
revenue, the 80,000. Does that include the new vendor you're looking at to potentially?
That does not include the new vendor
So
that we're
you want
looking
to tell the
at.
council what maybe?
Yeah, so I got an email at the beginning of this week from Talkie. Talkie is interested in coming in and putting something on our water tower, leasing it, and then providing services. It'll strictly be internet though. And I think their starting rate is like $59 for residents, but we would also be able to tap into that and cut our cost as well. So we've got a meeting next week with them to sit down and figure out what they've got that they want to install. Then of course we're going to have to reach out to USG and just make sure that everything's going to line up and be okay to do that. So that'll be some additional revenue coming in.
So any other questions under the water or the sewer?
No.
No,
And if you also notice, I just want to point out 60-4512 under sewer, that's the interest from the sweep account. And that's the estimated amount that we're looking to make to bring in, and that'll go into the reserve.
All right, we'll start with water expenses.
The water expenses, of course, what we did was break down the salaries of individuals that do work between water, sewer, town hall, public works. I do have that breakdown on one of the back sheets for you. So you're going to see a little bit of an increase on this based on the production of who does what for what department. So you go down and you've got the payroll, you've got the FICA. The workers' compensation is also factored into that and broken down by department and the percentage of how it's used. The retirement is also done the same way as well as the health insurance. And you got dues and subscriptions. We didn't have anything for the water, so I just put it at 500 just in case there was something. The insurance, again, the insurance for just the water is not that expensive, so I just reduced that down to 2,000. The IT expense, computer, and the web, I reduced that down because we have reduced our contract. We've got a much better price. We are also looking at our website. We have built that up now. Once we get it to where it needs to be, we won't have any cost to that unless we want to go back in and redo it. So we're doing all the changes right now that is costing us about $300 a month. But once we get to that, then we cannot have that fee involved unless we want to go back and make some changes.
So before we go any further, maybe we should tell the council what our plan is for passing the budget. So, and the point is that if you have anything that you see tonight or that you've seen before,
Right.
that you really have a heartache with, we need to get that out on the table so that we can meet the deadline to be able to pass the budget within the state law. So if you kind of tell them what the dates we're looking at, so.
Absolutely. So what we have to do is, if everything looks all right and you guys want to take this home, review it, make any changes, and then come back on next Thursday, May the 7th, and we make changes. And then if everybody's good with that, we can move forward to then scheduling a public hearing. We have to publicize it 14 days in advance, and it's got to be exactly 14 days. So if we look at it that way, it would put us on the 22nd of May, which is a Friday, so we can't do that. Being Dave's not here on the 28th, I was looking to move it to Wednesday the 27th to hopefully do a final approval. If we couldn't do it on the 7th, we will. But it would be a final approval and the hearing. And we would have to pass it by June the 4th.
I was going to say, the first meeting in June, we're screwed.
June the 4th has to be passed.
Right.
So that only gives us a few days after that.
So whenever we pass the budget, if the council agrees this is a balanced budget, then we have 14 days to have a public hearing, and then we shouldn't make any changes unless something comes up in the public hearing that makes us, or helps us to make a change. And then after that, then we would have the meeting to approve it after the public hearing.
Correct. Correct.
So just bear that in mind if you see something, so we might have to massage some of these dates in here, but we're trying to make sure we get it done, because the absolute drop dead date is June the 4th.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So I've gone through here and trying to be as swifty as possible with some of these things. I'm really basing it off of what we've spent so far. But given into maybe some, a thought of, okay, we replaced a lot of items in the wastewater treatment plant. Hopefully we won't have those items, but I don't want to second guess that, because if something major goes up in there, then we're kind of stuck with having to pay it. Some of these items that I do know, like I said, the telephone system, it's going in tomorrow. We finally got it straight with Verizon, so they're coming in and installing the new phone system tomorrow. That should cut our phone bill down at least 50%. So we're looking at that. The next step is for Brandon and I to look at the pump stations and the alarms. We've got several pump stations that don't have an actual alarm system on it. It only has a light. We're looking to redo those and remove some of the other ones that we have that are inefficient, outdated, and costing us a lot of money. I mean, we've got several that are $400 or $500 a month just to have an alarm system on them. So if we can get in there and maybe get a SCADA system or something else, that's gonna reduce our cost a lot as well.
So if we reduce some of the repairs and maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant, isn't that kind of what the reserve is for if we needed to dip into it?
It is, but there's not a whole lot in there, so that's my concern. So that's why I'm trying to keep it honest, thinking that we could utilize money that we've got in here. We're not raising rates. I did put the 32,000 in here for the reserve, but if we save money there, it'll go down into the reserve.
Okay.
So, a couple of the items on here that caught my eye, so I will let her talk about them, but the 52,150, the miscellaneous contractor expenses, it
Yes.
was 125 and we're budgeting 65. We've only spent 65 this year, so that's the reason why we don't anticipate having any higher.
And
So just it looks offline, but.
So, and just so you know, those miscellaneous contractors that you've got, like, these are gonna be for these emergency water main breaks that we've got, and we've had to call in Premier or some other company to come in and help us repair those. So that's what you see was a lot of this miscellaneous contractor amounts.
And the other one was 56,105 debt service. We don't have a debt service. This
So,
year,
yeah, I wanted to bring that up. So on here, the previous budget, you had $84,176 for the debt service for water. I couldn't find any water loans. I believe, and this is just me trying to understand everything that's out here in our contracts, I think that they thought the meter contract that we had was debt services. Because that's the one I'm saying that we're paying $42,000 a year, and we're obligated to them. It was for 15 years, we're at year 11, we've got 4 more years with them, and I think that's where she come up with this, was to cover that. We also have a contract with the water tank to paint them, to clean them yearly, and I think she focused in on those 2 items, but they are not loans. They are strictly contracts for maintenance.
Okay.
So, what are the plans, and obviously we're not at the end of the fiscal year yet, but what are the plans for the deficit that we're currently in of $233,000?
I don't have a deficit that we're in right now. Right now, their account shows about 1.2 million in there. I am waiting for the accountant to get through the 24 audit so that he can balance everything and then hit 25. None of this has been reconciled yet, but right now I am showing 102 million in the bank account that we have active. I think you know, the money being sweeped in and out shouldn't be coming in and out because it's just a sweep to take it in and out. It's physically still there though if we need to draw on it. So I don't know where the deficit's coming from because I'm not showing that. And you might be showing it for a month or this quarter, but we probably had more money from the previous.
I had it from November to current, that we were spending more than we were bringing in.
If we're spending more than what we're bringing in, it's because of the fact that we've had larger bills coming in. I'd have to look at that. For an example, I don't even think it's been a month and a half ago that we spent the $45,000 for the.
So the way I did it is I went through and I added up all of the deposits for the fiscal year to date and then all of the expenses. And between the two, it was 4.8 spent, 4.6 brought in.
Did you include the sweep account though?
Yeah.
You can't,
Well, unless it's on the,
you can't put the sweep account.
well, it
in
shows
there.
both ways. It shows,
Then the sweep account should be equal on both sides then, because if it's sweeping in and out,
right,
it doesn't really have an effect
it
on.
kind of just
your-
wipes the other out.
So you need to make sure that they're balanced and that they're wiping each other out.
And
Because,
that's the second account on the bank statements, right?
so it's not a second
Or
account.
the second.
So we have 2 accounts. We have a savings account and we have a checking account, an operating account. The savings account is the reserve that we
Okay.
have.
Okay, so maybe I don't even have the sweep account statements.
Well, the sweep account, so there is no, and you guys get the sweep account, I get it once a month and you guys get a copy of that.
Okay, so
With
that
the
was
monthly
separate
reports.
though from what was listed on the bank, the checking and the savings.
Yeah, because the sweep account is just moving money for us to make money, but if we had to pull that money out, it's still there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can understand that. So that's just for us to make
Yeah.
money and they move it around. But if I had to walk in there, they leave the reserve in there. So you'll always see 250,000 in there because they're leaving that reserve in there that we have to have. And they sweep the rest of it. But if I was to go in there and say, I need to cash a check for 350,000, they're gonna have to sweep that money back in there. It's still there for our use. It's not like we've spent it. It's just they're moving it around for us to make money.
And when was the sweep account open?
Oh, probably 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And every month you get that report when I do the reports. So there's a sweep account, it tells you how much interest we've earned. Like last month we earned $3,900 is what we earned.
So I guess what I'm talking about is like, when I got the bank statements, you know how it has all the accounts, like at the first page, all the accounts are listed, and then obviously some of them were closed and consolidated.
Correct.
Right now, on like March's statement, there's only 2 accounts showing on there. So that's aside though from the sweep account, is what you're saying, right? Okay.
So you really
That's
don't
a separate
see,
statement.
yeah, it's a separate statement. So
Okay.
you really don't see that going in and out, but you get a separate statement that shows you how much money they swept and then what the interest was that we earned.
Okay.
If you go back and look in your packets, you're gonna find them because I did attach them.
Yeah, I have those. I
Yeah.
can't remember how many of them I have.
Yeah.
But I think it's still accounted for because I see sweeps on that regular bank account of in and
You
out.
will, but you really can't calculate it as money spent or money brought in because like I said, it's just sweeping in and out. It's not something that.
It goes in one, comes right back out again. So
Yeah,
it's, yeah, I get
and
it.
it's still technically there in that account, they just sweep it in to make interest. So try taking those out and then seeing where you come
Okay.
with
I'll
your,
look at those as well.
okay,
See.
yeah, and let me know. And I can run a P&L to see where we are during that same time frame.
Okay, now we're moving on to,
Is that fiscal year you said?
Yes.
Okay. 16.
are we moving on to revenue now? Anybody else have any questions on the expenses in the order? Did you have another one, Kim?
No.
Are you moving to page 4?
Yes.
It's still on the expenses.
What expenses there?
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry, I looked at the.
That's okay, this is the sewer expenses. And again, we're gonna go down the line, looking at the salaries, the day restoration fees, all of the percentages for the FICA, workers' comp, retirement, health insurance. Chemicals are an expensive part of the wastewater treatment plant.
Let me ask you something on the chemicals with wastewater treatment plant. So with the chemicals, these chemicals, is that something we can bid and get a contract price for a period of time?
Imagine that.
I'm gonna defer that to Brandon, because he's the one that usually orders them.
So the regular chemicals we use on a regular basis, is there any way we can bid that out and get a contract so we're landlocked for a fee? So that when we don't have to wait for the bill every quarter or whatever to see what the increase is?
I can look into it.
Just see if they're willing to give us a contract, like for 3 years. And even if it's a small percentage, like the trash company does, it goes up. And then we present it, we may save a couple bucks, but I mean, then we landlock them to a price. Now, they benefit if the price drops, but we benefit if the price increases.
Are you missing something?
It was out of line, that's all.
I didn't have,
fixing it.
6,
He had it in the back instead of,
That wasn't my fault,
I
that's the
know.
one he took home.
I didn't unstaple it, but I'll take the blame.
Dues and subscriptions were at $350. I had just put $500 in just to cover that in case there was something additional. Same with the insurance, air insurance for the sewer plant is just a little over $4,000, so I just budgeted $5 for any increases. The IT computer and web service, we used $9,500 this year. I put in $8,500. I'm not sure it'll be that high, but I'd rather be cautious just in case there's a computer part or something that went up. We did have a screen that went up that was quite a bit of money just to replace the screen. So I just want to make sure we've got funds in there. You got to remember this wastewater treatment plant was in 2018. We're now in 26, so it's getting some age that things are going to start.
Yeah, some stuff, like if the screen, if you need to replace the screen, sometimes it's cheaper to get it.
Hey, Brandon, so in that, up there, isn't there air conditioning systems, like mini splits in them rooms? Because there are original ones in there too, right?
Correct.
Have they been maintained?
Yeah, we maintain, well, we started maintaining them ourselves, with the dust, cleaning out the corridors.
Right, because they're getting to their life expectancy already too. so
Only, two of them are fairly new, but the ones inside the building, the other three, they're original.
Yeah.
I just showed her this week.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we only get that at the town council meeting packets, right?
Correct. It comes once a month. Yeah. So when I get my report, and that's going to change, so when we get back to doing the 2 meetings a month, you'll get them on the very first Thursday, not the third Thursday. So we'll start producing the reports in the very beginning of the month instead of the third week of the month.
I don't know, are we starting the 2 meetings in May or are we in June?
We've got to get through the budgets that we've already set aside, so I think we need to start about in June.
Okay. Pete just asked something.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought this was our last workshop, and everything's gonna be busy.
No, because we have to have.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with squeezing workshops in, I mean, we've been meeting once a week anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the IT and computer service, and again, that service might go down if we're able to get the internet and so forth.
We need to get that guy, and those people, I don't want to sound sexist, we need to get those people to give us a list like we got Brandon with assets, and find out the age of computer, you know, they only have so much
Okay.
memory and stuff
Yep.
like that, and get a replacement schedule.
Right, so we can put
So we
it
can
in.
start
Well,
cycling
So
them in.
we
Like a
did
capital
just,
budget.
You know, like every 3 years you get a new computer, or every 5 years you get a new computer, whatever the life expectancy is, because they're used daily.
Yeah,
So whatever that is, and that may cut down on our overall maintenance.
correct.
well, that was part of the problem that we had because the old computer that was down there, just pretty much, there was no memory on it. And when they were trying to log into certain things, wasn't allowed it. So the computer was just
Yeah,
upgraded.
But I mean, we basically just need to list all our assets.
We did.
Come up with some type of replacement schedule.
Correct. No, I
And
agree.
that way we can budget for it ahead of time and hopefully
Correct.
save money in the long run instead of trying to repair junk.
Correct. Lab testing, this is another expensive item that we have. So far this year, we spent $17,976, and this is where we have to have this for the wastewater treatment plant, unfortunately. That
Check for all the E. coli's and all that
Correct.
kind of stuff that
Correct.
has to be, make sure that.
nitrates,
Nitrates,
E.
yep.
coli.
Are the numbers coming in okay?
I'm sorry.
Are the numbers coming in okay?
I was just told today, 2 hours ago, that everything's perfect.
It's because we haven't had a whole lot of rain either.
Well, they also send them to me, and I know Brandon gets tired of this, but I have a lot of questions when they come over, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, what does this mean, and why is this so low, or why is this so high, just so I get
Well,
an
it's usually
understanding.
good.
Right.
So we got multiple people looking at them and questioning them, because I think in the past, that maybe wasn't done on a consistent level.
It was,
And then when we sat with Susquehanna, they did explain these tests and what they mean, and that sometimes when you take one test and it looks like it's high, you have to look at the overall for the month, not just the one. But it's good that we're looking at it and questioning it. Materials and supplies down there, so we spent $5,300, we put it at $5,500. Miscellaneous contractors, now this is again, miscellaneous contractor does not include Susquehanna. This is for those sewer main breaks that we've had to call out the contractors on an emergency basis to come out and fix those items. It does include things also though, like we have a contract with Safe House for security down there and cameras. We've got Paramount that goes down there and sprays for past set mice traps and so forth. So there's a few of those that are mixed in with this, but the bulk of it is for sewer main breaks that we have to call in.
Now, does that include free mire and pump replacements?
It does,
Okay.
So when we see the septic companies on there, that's probably what that's for?
Yeah.
yes.
It's not necessarily not sewer breaks, the sewer repairs. as far
Repairs,
as-
yes, I'm sorry, repairs.
Because we don't have many, the pumps, the pump out, there's, like if the power goes out, we can't leave that pump station unattended, so there's times that we gotta get the pump trucks to run 24/7.
Now, I will tell you, Freemeyer, we've had some issues with. We have a large contract with them for the generators.
No, that'll,
That's not
Oh,
Fremont.
that's right.
Fremont's our pump guy.
I'm getting all confused, yes, you're right.
My E1 guy.
Freemeyer, we've had, I'm sorry, you're right. So we have quite a few Freemeyer though recently that we've had to do, that's in there.
and that, just the, and the thinking, and behind on that, there's gonna be more and more pumps up in Goldsboro, just going up, I mean, they're
Some
at
of them
now,
have the life of the pump,
yeah.
Well, we're billing them separately for those pumps though, right?
not currently.
So, okay, so I was gonna get to that when we got down to the bottom.
Okay.
And discuss that, okay, because there's a listed item down here for that. So that's the majority of those miscellaneous contracts that you'll see. Now, some of the stuff that you see that are, the sewer, the septic, like Chesapeake, or, who's the other one? That do the dump, that pump.
Tidewater.
Tidewater, yeah, those are the ones that go and do the pump out sometimes,
Okay.
okay? The hauling, of course, this is for, we do have
Dumpster.
there's a dumpster down there and it's pretty much for sludge. And then there is the bulk pickup where, we go around town, pick up mattresses and so forth that we have another dumpster for. Once it gets full, it's usually every quarter, I think, that they come and get it and take it and dump it. But a lot of this is that sludge dumpster that we have that it goes into. We did look around to see if we could find another quote. There's not a lot of people that do that.
That doesn't go on their truck, the sludge?
No, this is something that comes, that's at the old wastewater treatment
Yeah,
plant.
it goes into, you gotta, a lot of companies out here don't wanna mess with it because once that dumpster is used, you can't use it for anything else. But it goes right into the trash hauling like Republic, they just dump it, but it's literally just.
It's solid waste.
Yeah, it's solid
So
waste.
it's dried, it's solid waste,
Correct.
loaded with a backhoe or something.
It's just like chicken manure, but it's human waste, that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's what my husband does for a living, but that's what I was thinking. I thought it goes on a truck and then you take it to like, Herlock or the dump or what,
Well, these people do, we don't.
Yeah, this is
that's what I meant, the company.
this is
but
basically
why-
trying
I'm
to get all the
Connect
waste
letters.
out of it, so that way by the time it gets to the plant, it's water.
Oh, okay, now I gotcha, okay. I wasn't making the connection why they were putting it in the dumpster and not on the truck to take it.
Oh, okay, got it. It's like, okay. So line 52-160, this is the wastewater treatment plant contractor with Susquehanna. And every year we get an increase with them.
Right.
So we are at $275,000 this year coming up. I will tell you, I reached out to our legal department. We've been missing out on a $35,000 grant every year with the nitrate. The nitrate is supposed to be less than 4.
It has to be less than 4.
Yeah.
Correct. They've not been able to do that. And it's got to be consistent. It just can't be 3 one time and then 4.
Right.
It's got to be consistent low, and then you can get up to $35,000 as a grant to help supplement that.
I do have one quick, it's a little off subject, but the grants that we've been getting, are they not state grants because we still can't do that because of the audits? Or are they state grants that are committable without audit?
So the ones that we have been getting are through DNR.
Okay,
And DNR has not required. We've actually been working with them. We've let them know our situation. They got our 23 audit. They were satisfied with that. Some of the state grants that come for the police department, for an example, they will give it to us, but then they usually hold, what is it, the third quarter? And will not send it to us until we send them the grant, or send them the audit. So when we got the 23 audit, I sent it, and then they released a quarter.
okay,
So in some cases, you can get some, but they hold back until you can get the audit to them.
okay.
But both the Jesse Sutton and the Chop Tank River Park were DNR grants
Okay.
that we got. So with this though, I've asked legal to add to their contract, a stipulation that they needed to meet that 4% or lower for that nitrate for us to get this grant.
So I think in the current contract, the most recent, we hadn't put in there that if we got fined, they had to pay the fine.
Yeah.
Correct.
And they
But we
do.
wanted to pay the fine and make up for the grant that we're losing.
Correct. Because at this point, I understand the first year they were in there,
Yeah, they
that there was a lot going on.
There was a
a
lot of problems.
not being done. And then, there still was some issues. They changed staff in there. We have a really, really good operator in there now and has found items, cleaned them up. But I feel like last year, we didn't have a chance to make this adjustment because it sprung up on us. I mean, I know I got the contract 2 days before it was due and said, here, you need to pass this. And unfortunately, our next meeting wasn't for another 3 weeks, so we had to hold off until we could do that. But I made sure this time around that I was going to be prepared, and I sent it back out, asking them to put that clause in there. That, they've got to be able to get this down so that we can get that grant. There shouldn't be any reason
Not
we
going
can't
to
match
take
it.
35,000 away from what we pay.
Well, and that's the other piece I added, was if they couldn't maintain that, then they needed to reduce the contract by
Once we get
35,000.
heavy rain, they should be able to maintain.
Correct. That always seems like that's when we have our biggest nitrate
Well,
rains. is when
everybody
it
has
rains
their
or-
biggest problem with the heavy rain.
Correct.
So that's where we are with
He
that
should be able
and trying to work
maintain
that
it.
out.
He's had control of our plant for 2 years now. Yeah, they should have those numbers tweaked to know the system well enough
Yes,
to make it
we're
work.
getting ready to hit the third year with them, yes.
So when we've had conversations about the wastewater treatment plant, the apprenticeship, is that only for current staff, or would that be somebody that wants to come in off the street and look into it?
That's for our staff.
Okay.
And we do have somebody down there. Craig is down
Craig.
there.
Yeah, it's because of work that's coming up.
Yeah.
It's a liability, yeah. You can't just have anybody go in there.
What's he down there, 2 days a week now? Yes. So he's getting his hours in, he's down there 2 days a week. So,
Sometimes three.
yeah, to try to get the number of hours in. And like I said, this
What, it's about 2 years, you think, by the time with the hours that he's working?
three,
Three.
It's minimum of 3 years.
3 years before they can.
Even if you add up all the hours,
Right.
it all equals the 3 years.
Okay.
Right.
I had a friend approach me that lives in town, and she said that her son would really like to do something like that, so I know you said you had trouble finding somebody that wanted to, so,
But if he's interested in that,
okay.
the Maryland Rural Water
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to
has
think
a,
of
has
his
a
name.
program.
She has a program.
Well, he lives in town, so I think he was
Oh, okay.
kind of like,
Yeah. She lives in
okay.
St.
Willing to
Michael's.
do
Lady
it.
lives in St. Michael's, but she
Yeah,
has a
because
program.
they do have a program. It's a 3-year program to put them in, and then
okay.
they help them find jobs for that.
They do placement and everything.
The next line, postage and printing and shipping. For some reason, there was no budget item for this, and unfortunately, this is where the
Water bill.
water bills come from. It was all being billed out of town hall, not out of the appropriate location, so it got split between water and sewer to be able to take care of this. I will tell you, the beginning of July 1st, if you haven't already heard, postage is going up to 84 cents.
Might as well just make it an even dollar at this point, and just keep it that way.
Yeah. We do
Mail it
get a
out.
break, so we rent a postage meter, we do get a break of 4 cents per piece of mail right now. So ours will go up 80
$8,000
cents,
just to mail.
just to mail.
Wow. So I guess I better give me some forever stamps.
Yes, you better.
I've got some at 47 cents.
Well, I bought 5 rolls when it was like 60 cents a stamp or something, and I'm down to my last roll.
So we monthly bill the county Goldsboro resident, that's only 25, and then we quarterly bill the town of Greensboro. So that's roughly 865 bills, I think is pretty close to what we send out on a quarterly basis. Okay. This also includes printers. So, months ago, I brought up the fact that we had a printer contract, they were each five years each. The town's lease is up on, I believe it's May the 7th. They're coming to pick that copier up. I spoke with the chief, and we decided to buy him a printer that was heavy duty that they could use because they were only printing maybe 2,500 a year, and theirs is leased for another year. So we'll bring that one up here for town hall to use. He'll get a pretty good size desktop unit that will fax, scan, print, copy whatever he needs. And that's going to save us about $8,000 from having to buy one right now. And then we can look at next year on how we're gonna handle that.
I heard Delmarva document is a good one to get an estimate from the previous.
I got two, and they still were a lot. They still wanted between 6,000 and 9,000 for the unit, and then they wanted between 91 and 151 for maintenance per.
And they lock you into like a 5-year contract, you end up paying $30,000 for a copier.
Well, this would be purchasing it. We would purchase outright, we wouldn't lease it, and it would just be for the maintenance part of that. And then the other side of that is currently, with the leases that we have and what we're paying for it, I think I told you that the town copier ended up costing $35,000 in leasing alone. By the time that the police department's lease is up on that copier, it's gonna cost us $25,000, and it did not include toner. And then we had to pay extra to get fast service here if something happened. So,
Did they charge over the allotted copies as well?
Correct.
Whatever?
yes, they did. So you have to watch how many copies you're making, especially the color copies, because they'll get you on that. So hopefully we can.
Well, you know you can, so one of my more local clients has the copier from Delmarva document. They bought it outright, and it does have the color feature, but you can put a password on it so that not everybody can burn up the color on it. And I think they bought it, the copier outright, and I want to say their maintenance bill that I pay is like $70-some a month, but it's also not a very big office, so I don't know what allotment of copies that include.
Well, I was looking at the Sharp one because it will interface with our cloud-based system. So the girls can stick it up in there and scan it, and it'll go right into our cloud files, which is awesome. Instead of it going to their email, and then they've got to upload it from the email to the cloud and save it. This way it goes right to the cloud. So I'm kind of looking at that type of service, but I'm looking at buying it out and out, and then just trying to find a maintenance program if we can to do that. Right now, our color is not off. It's set to print in black and white, so that we don't use that many colors. But of course, when I do these, I do print these in color. So certain things we print in color, but other than that. Bank fees are about $500. This is for pretty much our credit card that we have right now through Shore United. I looked at changing that and putting it through our utility billing system, because right now we get 2 credit card entries into the bank statement right now. One's through MCSJ and one's through Shore United. This would streamline that process. Plus it would also let the girls scan the cards, and it automatically gets posted to the account instead of them having to print it, go in, post it, and then you, like I said, you've got all of these receipts that are calculated up every week that we can streamline that process. The only problem is we have a contract with Shore United, so I'm trying to wait for that to go out. Otherwise, we've got to pay the full contract rate before we get out of it. So, once we get to the end of that, we'll look at moving that. Internet and phones, right now, it was $8,900. Again, I budgeted $8,000, but this bill should go down drastically. I just don't know until we start getting the first and second month's bill. I know we're going to be charged $20 a phone line. That's what we're going to be charged. And it's going to be cloud-based. Electric and fuel. This is one of the biggest things that is a hardship on this. We spent $140,194 so far in electric and fuel. I budgeted $140,000. I'll be honest with you, I sat and talked to Dave today because I've been researching putting solar panels out there to help reduce the cost. The only problem is it's zoned in town. We would need 3 acres of property to put solar panels out there that would take care of the plant. There's not enough room on top. You might get where it might take maybe a quarter of the bill if we put them on top. So, that's just something that we'll have to discuss later on whether or not that's something we would like to look into.
Can't cover your rebates.
I don't know if we can. I guess we'd have to look at that. But I don't know if it's still going to be enough space.
Yeah, we can give them enough space.
You need 3 acres.
I know, I'm just trying to think of it. I hate giving up real estate when I can cover a parking lot or cover something.
I understand
And
that.
I know that, like your rebates and stuff, I know you can cover them. They're still gonna get the heat, it's still gonna do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It actually do change.
And that might be something we discuss, is that we put it on top of the wastewater treatment plant, and we put it on top of that to get something at least to give us some relief from the electric bills down here. So, I've just been looking at options,
We would have to,
just to see what we could
that
do.
would have to come back to us, because we have a thing where we can't, we're not doing solar panels in town.
You can put them on the roof, you can't put them on the ground.
Right,
That's what your ordinance says.
that's right, yeah.
So,
I'm okay with that.
like I said, I'm just looking at options to see what we could do. The building, ground maintenance, like I said, we didn't have a whole lot there. I put in $1,000. Equipment maintenance and repair, again, this might be a little high budgeting, but last fiscal year, we spent $48,000. There was quite a few items that did go up, so unfortunately, I'm preparing for that just in case this year, that we have the same thing. Again, you look at this, and anything that's over that we don't spend can always go in the reserve, because that's what we're trying to focus on, is getting the money in the reserve.
Is there any way to get a tour of the wastewater treatment plant?
Absolutely.
What it looks like.
Absolutely. You let me know what day you're available, and I'll have Brandon arrange to go down there with Todd. You'll love him. He is the nicest man and very, very
I've never been involved,
intelligent.
so I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, just to be able to see everything and the layout in there, you're gonna understand the complexity of it, I guess, because I think everybody thinks it's it's self-sufficient. It's really not. There's a lot that goes on there that you have to watch.
A lot of gauges.
A lot of gauges, a lot of computer systems that you're monitoring too. So yeah.
So
let
does
us
he
know.
stay up there all day, or he can do it remotely?
He's there, most days, 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and then the weekends, he's there 4 hours, right? So 4 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday. System,
It's a 24/7 operation.
I'm sorry?
He said, wow, I said, it's a 24/7
Does he have a life?
operation.
No.
I mean, that's his life. Wow, I didn't know
I
it was that
think
much.
he's
He's a
an
rock hall,
hour
isn't
away,
he?
right?
Is it rock hall?
Yeah, he's like an hour away,
Yeah, he's a rock hall.
yeah.
They had people that are closer that fills in
Yes.
in response to emergency. They got a guy that works for Denton. He works part-time for him. And then they got Jay, which is his backup.
Yeah, so they have to be within 30 minutes away for an emergency.
How long if you have a chicken farm?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go line by line just because this is a big budget and I want you all to understand it. So vehicle maintenance, I've got nothing. I mean, I don't know what else, but other than, to pull public works when they hit a main or something, but I just feel like we're splitting that up and I can always pull that in, another year once we become a little bit more familiar with how you guys utilize the vehicles and how many call-outs we get for sewer. The system maintenance and repairs, again, that was $89,000. I put in $80,000 for that to cover it. Other, I don't know what other was. It was budgeted for $2,000 last year. I've got nothing for that. Debt services, this is their loans, and I do have on the back page the debt services, so you can see that and what it's costing us. So the principal amount is going to be $102,000 for the year, and the interest is $53,480.
And 180,000 for current year is because it didn't hit the year.
Before, yeah. It's,
Payment goes in.
yeah, you got to know when it hits and comes through.
But it looks like we paid more than we really did.
Right. The reimbursable expense, of course, that's just where we got reimbursed for something that we billed out. A lot of times that happens for the break, for example.
Correct.
The golden door break. And then right now, I put the additional revenue in here for $32,395 into the reserve. And like I said, as we move along, we don't use some of this stuff, it'll be shifted to that reserve account.
Yeah,
Now,
32,000 ain't really enough money.
It's not.
It-
It's
a-
not.
One pump can cost 50 grand,
exactly.
so.
When I first started this, if you remember when you got the previous packets, it was set at 240,000 over. I had to look at this and figure out how to balance this or leave it in reserve. So I think right now we need to balance this, and then if it's not used, we move it to reserve because that's what we budgeted.
Correct. I mean, technically, you should probably have anywhere between almost $500,000 in reserve just in the sewer treatment.
Right now, we have about
Repair.
200,000 in there.
Right.
Well, when we raised the rates, as you recall,
Right.
we were just targeting, we weren't sure whether it was gonna be
Correct.
enough, because Davis, Bo, and Fidel actually wanted us to raise $90 a quarter, we went with the 30. So, you know, we're seeing now, it looks like that we're not bringing in as much income as we anticipated.
But we expected that, we were just hoping, because we didn't want to kill people with
Right.
$90 every quarter, that'd be too much, $360 more.
But that's why you see the increase, that's all.
Right.
I think ideally, we wanted to look at water rates prior to this. You want to start looking at that like in January to see where we are. I'll be honest with you, I've got to go back and dig and try to figure out what they came up with, how they came up with those figures. I've literally pulled everything, I've got a huge file out for the water sewer rates along with the study, so that I can look at it and figure out how they come up with the figures to get to that. And then that's something that I'll have to bring forward and we'll have to look at.
She didn't make any notes, like what it included on anything? No.
Not a whole lot of detail. And then I gotta do Goldsboro. I think that that's a definite one that we need to look at. So the last one on here, which is the system maintenance and repair for Goldsboro, we spent $45,000, as you know, for those grinder pumps. We purchased 11 of them. That is what Goldsboro used. This is a strict cost just to Goldsboro. It has nothing to do with Greensboro or the wastewater treatment plant. That's why it's got a separate line item.
Right.
I did put in an extra $10,000 in case there was something that we had to purchase for the town of Goldsboro. I reached out to legal to find out whether or not this is something that gets directly billed to Goldsboro or does it have to go into a rate structure. And I believe it's a rate structure, but I'm going to let them respond to that.
So to increase the
So
O&M
they'll
cost,
pay.
I don't know how much we'll recover.
Correct. So right now, we're not covering it.
We're the ones contacting you, vendors, or whatever, to make the repairs. So we'll find you.
So if you all will just look this over, send me any thoughts that you have on it or any concerns.
How long is
So,
this?
so as of right now, everything is balanced.
Correct.
All of
This
it.
is a balanced budget.
Good.
How long is the contract with Goldsboro?
Forever.
Forever.
Oh,
It was an FG,
Yeah, well,
it was a
It
grant,
was a grant.
put the
It
process
depends on the
in.
debt services.
Town, with
So,
the
all right,
county.
I didn't hit the back here. We've got to go to the back here to the, go to the, next to the back page
Employee side.
is going to be the employee. I don't know if everybody got it.
Next left.
There are these,
Yeah. So you've got one that says employee salaries.
yeah.
So, you know, in the beginning, when I first gave you the initial budget that had everybody's bells and whistles and needs, it included a 2% salary increase. I went through and Dave asked me, it was a COLA. They've never done a true COLA here. So Dave didn't want to do a true COLA, so I took the true COLA out and broke it down this way. So the way they've always done it is to calculate the entire payroll, do 2% and divide it amongst everybody.
Well, it's fair, because
So
the
that's
person that makes 100,000, and you give them 2%, makes a lot more than the guy that's digging ditches, making minimum wage. So years ago, we discussed it and thought it was fair to just give everybody the same amount of money as a
And that-
cost of living increase.
That's perfectly fine. When the first budget went through, I'll tell you, I did not put an increase in for myself, but Dave told me.
Well, you have
I
to.
did have one question about this. It looks like we just hired somebody and we're gonna go ahead already and give any,
When I talked to Dave, he said that we needed to give it across the board to everyone because this starts July 1st. So
28.
I merely put it in for everybody that you all make that call and I can always take it out.
I think you should have to be here for at least
Because
6
he's on
months.
probation.
Yeah.
Which one you talking, which one you talking?
Public Works.
We are talking about
Henry
William
Hill.
Barn.
No, he's not getting that.
So, you know, because, just so, if you didn't know,
Well,
Miles ended up leaving and, he's applied to the, Denton Police Department. He wants to be a police officer.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, so I do have,
Well, we just hired a new guy that just
Yes.
started.
yeah, but to say the new guy shouldn't get a raise.
No, he should. The reason I had her included in there was because I didn't know whether or not at the end of 6 months, once he got done his probationary period, you guys wanted to give him something, you know.
So-
Whatever you guys want to do.
Let me ask you this. So we're doing 2% to the, 2% from salary to the employee.
correct.
What are we doing to the scale?
To the scale.
To the scale?
Steps,
The steps, the scales that when we have to hire.
like grade 5,
We don't
step
have those
11.
here.
So, I mean, we do have a base salary range that you put on Indeed, when you hire, when you advertise.
I base that off of what the staff is
We
utilizing.
don't have a formula pay scale.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Dave, I'm gonna
I
knock
stand
you down
corrected.
here. When I first came, I asked to do that and to put pay scales in there. But Dave kind of felt like they were going back and forth and trying to change them from time to
Yeah,
time.
but I think it's a benefit to the employees, because we can add, if they get schooling, you know, if they get a degree, then it automatically bumps them up 2 steps or
It definitely has a
something
scale,
like that.
maybe we
You know
can.
what I mean?
Yeah. I've always had a scale.
We should
and
consider,
I'll-
well, it's too late now, but we should
Right.
consider it possibly for next year.
I'll be more than happy to do that because I've got,
Well, it would make things so much easier for you too when you got to advertise.
yes.
Right, you can say, you got this,
Here's
this
the range.
experience of this experience, this is
I
what
don't,
you get,
I
right?
don't wanna put this out
30 to
now,
45,000.
I think there's gonna be a
Depending on
time
what
we're gonna have to
you're
discuss the police department, because I thought one person was not here anymore.
We did talk about it.
You thought that there was one person that wasn't
That
here?
wasn't here anymore in the police department.
No,
No, I was here.
no, everybody's here.
No, yeah.
I thought we decided
No,
in a meeting that we were gonna,
no.
No, we did away with the 4th position that wasn't filled.
no, I thought in the meeting we were gonna decide to,
Mm-mm.
No.
no, we didn't talk about it?
There was some discussion about it, we can't.
Well, the last
We're on
time I
record right now.
discussed. Right,
Well, yeah,
okay.
so, yeah.
The lawyers came back and told me we couldn't.
Okay, well, I'm glad I knew.
Okay. So, this tells you the increases. At the bottom, I wanted to share with you, these are the departments that split amongst other departments. So for an example, Public Works. So the Public Work team, their salaries and benefits are split between 50% Public Works, 25% to sewer, and 25% to water. And this just kind of balances it out to make sure that those departments are being hit when they're being tagged. So if he goes out to fix a water leak, he's going to be covered under this. So we sat down and went through a lot of different variations and come up with that. Town hall staff is 52% literally working for town hall and the general area. Sewer is about 24% because you have to remember that a lot of the staff here do the bills. They have to do the cutoffs, and there's a lot that they do. Take payments, take phone calls, and then 24% to the water. So, and of course PD should have never been in the wastewater treatment plant. So we took them completely out, and they are 100% at PD.
I have a question, and this might just be for ease of reading this for everybody, but you know how we have them broken down on like different budgets here for each? In my mind, it would be easier to have a budget with one, like the main figure, and then have the breakdown underneath of that for each department. Does that make sense? Like have, for instance, the fuel budget for the entire entity on one line item, and then underneath of it, break it down by the percentage for each department.
So you're doing like, you do like an A, B, C, D thing in each
Plus
department.
the cost.
Yeah,
Correct.
sort of like that. I just feel like it'd be easier to read, because then all the information would be.
Isn't that like what this is? Where I've got a percentage broke down and...
Well, you broke it down, right, I see what she's saying, she wants an overall picture of it there, but you've done it the same way, you've just broken department, you've done it by the department. So
Right.
Public Works,
Because this is how you've all had it
Correct.
before, and I just kept it this way, and this is how QuickBooks.
I mean, you
work
can always go
out.
back and just add it up to see what our total fuel cost is, and go back in each department and just add it up and say,
Yeah,
we spent $1 million in, fuel.
I got you. I mean, I can calculate these up to show these together, if that's what you're looking for. We can do that. And then on the back page, you've got your wastewater treatment plant loans. This is your true debt service. We've got 4 loans, and as you can see, most of these loans are not mature until 2054 to 2056.
Some of the interest rates must be.
The interest rates are 1.375% on 3 of them and 2.375% on 1 of them.
1.3.
And what were these loans for? I know at wastewater treatment plant, but what specifically?
So the bottom one, it's 3.9 million, that's for the wastewater treatment plant. I know
The building?
Yep,
Yep.
Okay.
I know, I'd have to go back and pull them. I know one of them is for Boyce Mill Road, where they had, it was a road that collapsed back there, and they had to go in there and dig it all up for the septic.
Yep.
And replace it, so we got a loan for that. And then, do you know what the other two are?
That was the 300,000, I think, for
Is
that.
that the 300,000 one?
That
Yeah.
was Boyce Mill Road damage, or?
Oh, yeah, the,
Oh,
I
it
think
was-
the road was gone.
It was gone.
Was
Yeah.
one
What was
of them,
that?
The one Boyce Mill that cuts back
The
here.
one way,
Yeah.
was one of them Park,
Must have been before 23.
Park Avenue included in the Boyce Mill, or was that one separate?
That was, I think that was separate.
So that might have been,
That probably the
So it was a
100,000
collapse.
was.
Oh. Because I know one's Boyce Mill, I know the big one is the wastewater treatment plant, and then there's two other small ones in here that I have to look at. Of what they are.
I mean, the wastewater treatment plant, some of it was grant, but we had to fund the majority of it.
Correct, you're right. Two of these ones, so the one for 300,000 and the one for 3.9 million, both had grants associated with them as well.
Do we pay anything extra on these loans to try to get them paid off quicker? Because some of these payments are actually pretty low. If we duplicated the payments,
I asked to take the sweep account and pay the one off, and you all want me to put it in reserve right now to build the reserve up. So I think that it was the council's recommendation that we build the reserve up, and then, once we do that, pay this
Well, that was
down.
because we just had to buy a pump and some
Yep.
other things. We didn't
Correct.
have money.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, if you really took the three, the 186 and 100, you could pay those off. That would be what, $586,000. You could pay that off and you'd still be stuck with the 398 and lower interest rate at least. But you're not going to get the interest rate any lower than what is there.
You're not. You know, I would focus on the larger one with the, you know, the 2.375 one to try to get it paid off, but, you know, that was my, you know, suggestion that you all wanted me to put it in the wastewater treatment plant reserve, so that's what we did with it. No,
I mean, I guess we can discuss that in another.
we can, and you have to understand too, that this budget is starting from like zero,
Correct.
and we do have money in the bank. So it's starting from zero, that then, you know, if we can see, you know, midway through or even a quarter way through how we're doing, and if, you know, we can take a look at it and we can make some adjustments that, hey, this isn't going as much as we thought, we can move money to the wastewater treatment plant, and as we move along, then we can say, okay, if we're making money and we've got money in there, we can start moving to
Well, I'm
the
thinking that's something we should look at maybe like October, November, when we go in, after we've got the budget going, see what it is, and then we can say, all right, we've actually put some more money, what loans should we pay off?
Exactly.
And have one
well,
loan.
once we have a budget versus actual report too, we should be able to see each month
You will.
where we've hit.
Correct.
And then we could say, okay, we came in under this month, let's move.
And
some
so
money
she,
over to this
Yeah, I would do that.
she said that to get these figures to give to us, she's had them, the girls going and put the numbers in for the 25 fiscal year. So, even though 24 is next, and she just sent them the numbers for 24 from the ARPA fund. Hopefully, then they'll be ready to start working on the 24 soon. Might take them a while to get it done, but 25 should go by pretty quickly because it'll be in QuickBooks then, and it'll be easier for the auditor.
Well, 24 is now in
understand.
QuickBooks too. Everything was done. There was a question about the money that was in MCSJ and how it was calculated. So what we did was just decided to take what we knew was real and factual and send that to the auditors. And then when I got the ARPA fund audited, I sent that over, and then he was going to go ahead and send that to the auditors as well, the accountant. And then see, what happens is they get it, they put it all in, if they've got questions, they'll go back to the accountant, and then the accountant will come back to me.
So you said we have 200,000 in the reserve?
Correct. It's a little over 200,000, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
So when you mentioned the ARPA fund, it sparked something. I know that there was money spent on a project that never came to be during the audit that came about.
What,
The steps on the back.
oh, the 3,500, yeah, that was taken out.
Okay.
Yes.
So, did we ever seek reimbursement for that?
We couldn't because we had no contract with them. I tried, believe me. There's no way. Right now, we have $192,084 in the reserve.
I'm sorry, one more time.
$192,084.
So before we leave here, let us plan our dates so that we all agree what we're gonna do here, so.
5/7 and 5/27, you said, right?
If we can come to an agreement on 5/7, that way we can schedule the hearing. And the
That's next
hearing
week.
has to be,
I'm good with what it is right now, as long as it hasn't changed, I'm good.
I mean, if you are good with this, with no changes, then you can do that and I can schedule the
I mean,
hearing.
it's not like we've gone over all these items one by one. We haven't had any real we questioned some things, but we've gotten explanations for them.
So if
I mean, so
everybody's
to
good with
me-
this, you can go ahead and put out the.
How
Go ahead, Kim.
are we? I like to organize this the way my brain works, so I can work.
One more thing that I want to add, so, you know, when we had the budget hearing last week, we had talked about the K-9 that got missed, the veterinary expense. So if you look on the police budget, all the way down at the bottom, that was
Correct.
added in and
Right.
adjusted.
That's the max for the annual, right?
Correct. So it's $2,500 a year, max $10,000 for 4 years.
Right.
I never finished.
Or the life of the dog,
What was the
whichever.
Other two for.
If he dies next
I'm
year,
not
then
sure what they are, all I know is they're wastewater treatment plants, I
Not
don't know if
the
they
same
were
one.
repairs, do you know what they are? I know this one is for the wastewater treatment plant, and I know this one was for voicemail, yeah.
So
I'll have
one,
to look
isn't it
and see if
Park
it's got a
Avenue?
name on them.
That's what I'm.
I think the 100,000 was Park
Park
Avenue.
Avenue.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
almost positive when they had to fix that underneath and then paved it.
The infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the sidewalk,
And
it wasn't underneath, I think it was the road and the sidewalk.
Well, I think they paved it or something messed up over
Yeah,
there.
something,
Am I remembering correctly too that we got a grant or something for asphalt repairs or I know we're gonna start working on streets or something, repaving?
that's highway.
That's
use.
the highway
Highway
user.
user fund? Okay, so I'm not complaining because my street's on there and it needs it desperately. But are we checking the infrastructure before we repave on the streets that we're repaving?
Yeah, so we went through there and majority of the streets that we've checked, we know that there's
Camera.
infrastructure issues there,
Okay.
which, I mean, if we waited until we replaced the infrastructure, there would be no street being paved. Or we would basically repave the ones like Wood Duck,
Church Street
Vaughn.
2 years ago to fix and repair was over $1.2 million.
Just the infrastructure.
Infrastructure and paved the road
For one street?
for one street because the infrastructure was so, because I was there when
First
the,
That wasn't the full street.
no, that was just from.
That was just from, Cedar.
Bernard, Cedar,
Cedar.
down to Maine.
Yep,
So
because,
how bad a shape are we in for infrastructure around here?
I mean, it's a lot of old pipes,
Yeah.
but we're not in bad shape. I mean,
You
it's
get a hard
terrible.
road with a lot of snow plowing and a lot of vibration and you'll have issues, but other than that, it's usually. it's
That's
all-
why
I mean, our water lines are probably the worse than the sewer line. We've actually only had one manhole that we've established that ended up having a lot of root infiltration, and we were able to take care of that, but, it's not bad.
So every year we get a grant for the state highway user funds this year, and we get it in advance, so we know what it is, and it's gonna be $151,000. So of course, we put it in the top and we also put it in the bottom, because we wanna use it. I think in the past we've sat on this, and then we've missed opportunities to utilize this money and report it back. Anytime you do like snow plowing, anytime you do coal patch, all of that comes out of this grant money, and we were never doing that. So we definitely want to make sure that we're using it. It's good for 10 years. You definitely don't want to hold on to it that long, because then you've got to worry about
Well, the longer you hold on to it, then less likely you're gonna be able to do something with it if something
or that you
breaks.
spend it somewhere else.
Correct.
So
Because see,
we've got
when we
to
first
plan
paved the
for it.
streets, Brandon went around and had all the things camera. We picked the better streets that didn't need anything done, and that's why they paved the streets they did. And then he made a list of, from the best all the way to the worst, so we knew which ones we could
So,
pave.
and to give you just a rundown, because I know it'll be a question that's asked, Gravy Street, one of the worst streets out there, but there's still potential talks with builders that, we talked to the owners and everything, a lot, that they're gonna end up building, so we don't really wanna rip into a brand new street.
Right.
to-
Put water and
to
sewer
put
hookups.
water and sewer, so. And then also, doing the lead and copper inventory, if the infrastructure is, there's gonna be grant money out there that will cover if they deem that our pipes gotta be dug up.
Yeah, we're gonna be looking at that. That grant was provided to us
We had to have it in by
last year, and
October.
it didn't get put in. So we're gonna be looking at these grants. I'm gonna be constantly looking at them every week to see if we can get money in to get these grants. You know, yesterday, Dave and I attended the legislative wrap-up, and I went up to thank Delegate Bryce and Senator Hershey for providing us the $50,000 for the fire department and the $50,000 for the police department. And you know, the first thing that Senator Hershey said to me, wasn't enough? Do you need more? So that, I'm like, man, I should have asked for $100,000. But you know, so there is some support out there for us to be able to get some additional money.
Not to say we'll always get it, but if you don't ask, you don't get
Well,
a chance to even get it, you know?
Well, the state of Maryland gives a lot of money away, and those guys and gals are excited to be able to get a chunk out of it to bring back here on the shore. And I think they got 600,000,
they did.
so they were very pleased to be able
Yeah, they
to
were.
bring that back to their constituents.
And they got 100% of the.
They got 600,000 and 100 of it came to Greenfield. That's
That's big.
That's good.
Yeah.
And they got, I think they got enough money to pay for the new high school,
Yeah.
so the county doesn't have
Middle
to
school.
kick in.
Middle school.
That's cool, yeah.
What, the middle school, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they got 100%.
Well,
So, you know, we didn't quickly go over the general. Do you all have any questions with that? It's pretty cut and dry.
I did actually. What are franchise fees? I'm just not familiar.
So Comcast has the franchise in the town of Greensboro for internet, or for cable TV.
Okay. So
That should be-
utilities, basically utility?
It's just cable TV.
Okay.
So no other cable company can come in here and sell TV to the town of Greensboro. I gotta look at that contract, because it's very low for what we're getting, and for it to be solely the only one that can be in the town of Greensboro. So that's on my list to
But
pull
it's
that
just
contract.
TV, you can get internet from anybody.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, you get internet, you can stream all day long.
That's what I do.
And it looks
And
like
then
we're not
for everybody-
putting anything in for events, like the car show or anything.
Okay, so yes, if you go down to the bottom,
Uh-huh.
where we have got, where's
Probably
that?
something on there.
On the second page, page 8,
Uh-huh.
towards the bottom, we have got events. Now, we've kind of taken that out because we wanted to label the events this time. We didn't want it to just be in a pile here. So the fishing derby, we put aside another $1,000 for it. Kids in the park, $1,000. Autism event, $1,000. And then, of course, the Greensboro Volunteer Fire Department gets $30,000. Right now, the car show is pretty self-sufficient. And we've made a few changes to that to hopefully make some more money.
And we're hoping that the fishing derby will break even, because we've got almost 1,000 now.
I think we've got 1,500 now. I think
Do we have 50?
I'm
You got more than that.
thinking we've got more money.
Okay.
So what we've been doing is really looking for people to donate money to the cause so that we didn't have to put out a whole lot for this. And we're trying to make it a little bit bigger and better this time, especially the kids in the park. We're looking at face cleaning, touch a truck, food trucks to come down and, for that particular day. So we're kind of excited to expand it.
And the page 8 administrative fee, the first item, what is that for the county?
So that,
Oh, that's good. That's another one
yeah.
we want to talk about.
Yeah, so that is where the county charges us to collect the property taxes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They charge us
Yep.
to collect their taxes?
No, to collect ours.
No, to collect ours.
They collect money for us. They bill it out in the same bill, county and.
They send you a letter.
Oh.
They send
And
you a letter.
then you send the money to the county, they send it back to us, and they charge us $6,000 to do that. So we're looking at maybe collecting it
Yeah,
ourselves.
we're reevaluating that. Because
That's crazy.
I'm like, if we get all caught up and, you know, we're able to get things done in an efficient time, there should be no reason why we can't take payments here for that.
And then the only, the planner on the same page, 10, 52,165, it looks like it was at 2,000, we spent 4450, and it's budgeted for 30,000.
That's for Peter.
Yeah, that's for.
Oh,
That's for the 10-year, that's the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
He only bills us each time he
As he
sends,
does
does it. He doesn't bill us the full
This
thing.
kind of worked out well for us, because it wasn't budget last year. So the large portion of this will be put in the next budget that's gonna be budgeted.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, oh, I just made a note about the phone, so that should go down
A
now too,
lot.
right? Okay.
A lot.
Out there
No
trying to make
doubt.
money.
I think that was all I had, just those.
All right, so one last time to make an old man happy. So the plan right now, hopefully, is to be able to meet on May the 7th, and everybody agreed to pass the budget kind of like the way it is now,
That's
unless
next
there's any
week.
changes.
That's next week.
Right.
And then on the 14th, we won't need to meet,
Yeah.
because that was an extra one.
Correct.
The 21st will be a regular council meeting.
Correct.
Then we
And then on
vote.
the 27th, no,
Yeah,
on
you're
the
right.
27th, we'll have, we don't have time.
So
On the
instead of the
27th, we'll have a
28th
special meeting instead of the 28th,
Correct.
to have the public hearing and vote on the,
Correct. Yes.
to approve the budget.
Do you need me to send that out to you?
Yes,
Okay.
because it'll change between now and then, I guarantee
It
you.
won't
No.
change. I've got it written down, I've got it
It's
written
pretty
down.
straightforward.
I pray you to hope so.
Right.
Okay.
It's a lot better.
I'm hoping that this was a little bit easier to read and understand.
It is.
And you know, last year you also had a separate budget for Goldsboro, I don't know why. Goldsboro is a percentage of
Very.
the O&M and the debt services for Greensboro. It's like 19%, just under 19%.
Well,
You don't need a separate budget for it.
last year, we were operating unfortunately under a budget that was set by the previous town manager, and some of us were left to muddle through it and had no knowledge of a lot of the input that she had planned into that, so that's why some
Well,
of
we
these
looked at
numbers-
10 different budgets last
We
year.
all passed it, I know, but anyway, we've gotten better, this is a lot better than before. Hopefully we'll be up to where, like Kim talked about, we'll be looking at actual, versus.
Yeah, we're still working on some hiccups there where, like Dave and I were sitting down and I pulled something out and I'm, oh, wait a minute, that looks like it was coded wrong.
And starting next year, I would like to see the department heads give the council something each quarter of where they're at with their budget, what percentage, how they went through their budget.
So every
quarter.
starting in July, with that period, so when we have the first meeting in August, you're gonna get a P&L for the month of July. They will also get a P&L for each one of their departments to be able to look at to see where they're
Because if
at.
I come to either one of them in 6 months and say how much they're.
A P&L or a budget versus actual?
Well, I gotta put the budget in there, but, you know,
Yeah.
if they like to see how it was, you know, coded and all of that, because sometimes there's can be a little bit of a hiccup of how it was coded too. And we
Right.
all wanna make sure it's coded right, because it's gotta go to the right area to be able to budget it properly.
And I
So
don't know
yes.
if anybody else is familiar with budget versus actual or budget in software, but essentially too, when you know that you have certain, like, in the summertime, your electric bills might go up if you're not on a budget, you know, then you might wanna, instead of just stretching the whole figure across all 12 months, you might wanna put the bigger chunks in the more expensive months, so that you don't look like you're going over your budget in the lesser months. Or if there's certain events or certain,
Like I say right now, wintertime budgets for people were astronomical this year.
Yeah, dumb overpowered.
That's why our electric bill is so high.
You know what
Everybody.
I send them out, Delmarva Power, $3 a week, every week.
$3?
50.
Oh.
Every week.
Oh, you can't turn your power off because you're making
So I
a
always have a
payment.
credit.
You
So I
always
have
have it.
no payment. Every month I have no payment. I usually have a credit.
At the end, yeah,
I
how's
just
it
do
going?
it on the budget.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Instead of $200 a month. every
Yep,
month.
yep,
Well,
yep.
it's just me and a cat, and there's a lot of electric.
And they can't turn your power
No,
off.
I don't know.
So it's just me and a cat in the house, that we don't use a lot of electric. My last electric bill was $120.
Man,
Wow.
jeez. That's nice.
I'm
Cindy,
just
I
on the
know
budget.
you spend a lot of time on this budget.
Yes.
You burn night lamp a lot of times.
100%
You call me
better.
at night, which I'm
So
welcome
much
to
easier
your
to
call,
read. We
but I
appreciate
appreciate your effort.
I think
And you
that-
guys, thank you for.
I think the worst part was just going through and, with all the updates that the girls were, you know, coding and getting things updated, that I
Right.
feel like I needed to go in and update those figures, so you start looking and you start to come across.
And like you said,
things,
there's
but-
gonna be, you might use less here, but you need more. It's all gonna wash itself.
And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the way that you have it now, it's just that every brain works differently.
It does.
Mine, I'm very visual, so like having things,
The only reason it was done this way was because it kind of mimicked the one you had in the past, and I didn't want to change it up too drastically for them not to
Yeah, but at least we
understand.
see what we budgeted, what we've used, and now what we're
Correct.
expected to use. It's not, we had so many numbers going across the thing.
It was, throw
I
one
knew we
together.
had 10 different budgets last.
Oh, yeah.
Everything goes just one.
Correct.
What is
Everybody
it?
asked
Hold
a
on.
I haven't looked that closely at it, but just a question, like, I know each department has like a 50, a 60 or whatever, but do the other numbers correspond, like, so if it's fuel for every department, is the number the same except for the first two digits?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, it should be.
okay.
Unless for some reason, it might be one or two off that, because see, the accountant set the first set of codes up, and then I had to go in and start, there were some things that he set up for like the town and PD and maybe Public Works, but he didn't set it up for the water and sewer because he didn't think it needed, so
So you'd
if
add
that code wasn't available, then I had to hop to the next one, so, but pretty much they should be the same.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Oh,
Is that second?
second.
Wow.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay!
7:15, thank you all very much.
Thank you all very much.